Hmm?
I see what's over there already. Hold on, let me grab mine. Let me grab mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this while you do that. I ain't got no commissioner to answer to.
Hey, look, ain't nothing like being your own boss. That's all.
Hey, they gonna change in a minute. They coming home. I see they coming on home
They coming on. They coming around. Definitely coming around.
because they know it's part of the meditation and the rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying? That's not nothing that's gonna just destructively hurt you. It's gonna constructively get you better.
Right, right. So that's hold up. Before we even get to that, I gotta introduce you right, man.
Come on then,
Look,
Mo. Let's go.
hey, look here, man. This is my big uncle, man. I'm sure there's everybody else's big uncle, man. Uh, brother, friend, family, man. Is I want to say thank you, man, for jumping on this. What's in your glass? Another week. Um, my big homie Snoop Dogg is in the building. I want to give him a virtual toast, and we all congratulate him on his success and just jumping on here today. Um, cheers, salute.
Success and nothing less.
Absolutely. With that being said, man, you was saying something that was very interesting about just about cannabis and in general. Like you started that conversation, but I would love to hear more about that from the outsider's perspective. For a lot of times the athletes talk about it, the athletes fight for it. There's lawsuits going on about it right now in professional sports. Athletes feel like it helps in a tremendous way. Um, and I can see slow progress right now, but I want to hear it from your perspective, from an outsider's perspective.
My perspective is I've spoken with a lot of GOATs, guys that played professional football, professional basketball, who were in the Hall of Fame. And they told me that when they used medical marijuana or cannabis, it helped them deal with their issues as far as injuries, as far as stress and just anxiety and things in general, that those pills and that medicine that the doctor give you side effects. This don't have those rare side effects. And at the same time, you got guys who, really need this as a medical prescription. You understand what I'm saying? It's looked at as something bad, but at the same time, the government is making money off of it. So it
Right.
can't be that bad. It reminds me of prohibition when alcohol was, outlawed, and then all of a sudden it became, overnight a business. That's the same thing with this. If you're going to make it a federally governed business and you're making money off of it, you got to take the restrictions off of the athletes, off the entertainers, and off of those that's locked up for this same situation right here. And me speaking from the outside, because I was one that always advocated before it became legalized. And I went to jail for it, and I was blasphemized for it, and I was always looked at as the bad guy. But now I'm the good guy. But it's the same thing I've been doing. So it's like, if you could forgive me, you got to forgive the athletes and let them use what they need to get them by. That's not going to have those side effects that's going to cause that opioid effect that some of these athletes have, where their mind state and their mental health diminishes because of the pills that they were given.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We all feel the same way. So don't need trip about that. We have these conversations all the time, man. And it's not about just the THC. I mean, it's so many different um positive things that's within that plant, that cannabinoid plant. So it's other side effects,
Man,
not even
the
side effects, it's
CBD,
other
hey,
positive.
the CBD is one of the most important things about it, because my mom is 69 years old, and she's a diabetic,
Yes,
and she's been they didn't cut her big toe off, all kind of stuff, taking insulin. When I gave my mama that CBD, her whole game changed. She was like, she
absolutely.
wasn't feeling no pain. It wasn't having no side effects. She's able to move around now. So it's like, this is somebody that's a Christian, that's an evangelist. And she taking CBD because it makes her feel better. So it's not a crime. It's just they got to understand that what's the benefits of it. And that's the medical side.
How long do you think before they come around? What you think?
I think by the end of next year, the NBA and the NFL are going to take all of the marijuana restrictions off players, for the simple fact that that's petty. Now, if you're using steroids, if you're using controlled substances, then that, could possibly enhance your game or make you better or make you worse. But one thing about this medical cannabis is it's not doing nothing to prohibit you or to knock you down. In actuality, it's actually getting you more focused, more aware, and you actually on time. I ain't seen nobody on this come to work late. I see him on time doing his thing because I'm one to do it. You understand me? I ain't never been
Right.
late to my job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's jump into another thing. Let's jump to something else. You just recently partnered up with 19 Crowns. As I'm sitting here, have that in my glass. Let me show everybody that. That Cali Red, that Snoop Cali Red right here. So we're gonna talk about this for a second. What
Yes,
made
sir.
you team up with them? And tell us
Well,
a little bit about the Australian-based company, the wine producer.
well, they're an Australian-based wine company, and they approached me based off of me, being very well known in Australia and being known in America, and they gave me a great idea and a concept to connect with them on some of their product. And naturally, I went with the red wine because it's California red wine, and it just fit my whole MO. And I liked the way they, presented their presentation to me. And it was a great partnership. And I felt like if I got with them and we did what we did, we could make some noise in this red wine lane because it was untapped territory. And it was something that needed a different twist. So once we partnered up, we put together a good plan. The wine tastes amazing. We got a nice promo ad where you put the phone to the bottle and the dog talks. You understand me? So we got little tricks to the trade that we're doing to make this thing a great experience.
And a lot of people who may not know about 19 Crimes, even before you partner with them, the label, you could still put your phone up to it and it would be interactive. Like that's what I really thought was spectacular about that. The fact that you can interact with that wine, with that label, was incredible. So to hear that I can put my phone up to this label and the dog gonna talk to you, that's incredible. So it's bringing that technology into the wine world too as well, because for so long the wine world has just been very traditional.
Yeah,
And nobody,
you go to Napa Valley, you sit around with a nice little suit on and you sniffing
right.
wine and tasting wine and get out of here. We got a whole new twist. This 2021. We on to something new. Let's go.
What was that experience like?
You know what? It was crazy for me because I'm like an action paced guy. So to go to a winery where it's all slow paced and it's, based off of tradition, I had to, shake up the shiver or give them a little new tradition, the thing that we bring to the table. And they was with
it. First of all, Australia for me personally is a market that I'm trying to tap into because it's like you said, it's untapped. It's so many different resources over there that we should be understanding what's happening over there on a granular scale. So I'm actually glad that you partnered up with an Australian winemaker, wine producer like that.
What we got to know, Mello, is that when we become famous, we internationally known.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't know that. We try to be so domestic and we think that our love is only as far as this state or this state. But once you start traveling the world and seeing the global effect that we have, then you understand your worth on how you can go to different countries and do different things. I'm sure when you played in those Olympic games and y'all was going overseas and you was seeing how big basketball was, how big y'all was, and
Absolutely.
how big that Nike and all the different companies were, but y'all was the show. They was the business. But if you were smart, you would have went back and did your own show because you understand me, you are the business. And that's
Absolutely.
what we have to understand is that globally, look at what Kobe Bryant was doing. He had something in Turkey where he had a whole in a whole
airplane deal. He had an airplane deal over there.
Airplane deal in another
airline
country
deal. Yes, of course.
that we ain't never going to.
Right.
But because his effect was that much and he was that sharp of a businessman, all right, let me go to some untapped territory. How many people in your country? How many people over here love me? All right, I'll do it. Let's go over here and do it. Because America, they acting funny over here. Right. They don't want to give a black man his ownership. They don't want to give a black man what's due to him. So let's go to these countries that understand what the black man is worth and get our true worth as kings. And then that way we'll sit back and say, when I do retire, I'm not retiring off of the money, off of my blood, sweat, and tears. I'm retiring off of the moves that I made when I was having those blood, sweat, and tears type of practices to get me to this.
I don't, and to that, that's a great point. I don't think that there's a lot of people who mind operates like that. Like it takes a different type of person to think like that, because for so long we've been so consumed in just here at home, America, America, America. Like you said, my mind been open for 15 plus years, just traveling, going overseas, and again planning those games and understanding the impact that we have from a global standpoint. It started in China, then it goes to Japan, and it goes to Australia, and so on and so forth. And we never take advantage of those different opportunities because we're afraid to.
But
But
look
now
at
you
how they took it. Look how they took advantage though.
right,
All those teams that y'all played with them different countries, how many of them dudes over here in the NBA now?
absolutely,
And they getting real money.
absolutely.
Okay, now, so they didn't figure it out, but we ain't figured it out. When we do figure it out, it's either too late or we don't understand it. But the women's basketball been getting it. They've been sharp going overseas getting money. They've been with the business before the WNBA because that's all they had. You feel what I'm saying? So at the same time,
Yep.
it's a give and take relationship to where whatever we give it, we take it. So they'll give you that if you understand the dynamics of who you are on how to do your business globally.
Yeah, and that's just that's again that's coming off of being able to educate your own self, right? And have a knowledge of self and understanding what you have to do and what you want to do. A lot of people don't have a plan in place to be able to go out there and execute that. So they just going with the wind, they going with the flow, and they going with what somebody else is telling them to do, which is only here in America. With that being said, how long you been into wine?
Probably about, I say about 15, 20 years, because I was a hard drinker.
Right.
Old English 800, St. Ives, gin and juice, Hennessy, whatever was the hard thing, I was on it. But then once I started getting intellectually together, this started to enhance my thinking and my thought process. So, you want to go with whatever you at or wherever you at. And as I got older, I wanted to, age like fine wine. So you are what you drink.
What what wine you started with? Like what bottle you could say like, damn, like this got me into it.
Well, my homeboy Warren G turned me out because he was the first one that thought he was a rich nigga drinking wine and shit. So, so Warren G popped some shit on us called Merlot, right? Some shit called Merlot, and it just sounded expensive. So we started drinking that kind of red wine, and we fell in love with it because it was like it made us feel some kind of way about ourselves. Like even the glass that you drink it out of, the way that you hold the glass, your posture, your conversation, like all of that comes with the entanglement with wine because it's all in one glass. It's all poured in that one glass of the wine society. Usually you say the wine community is just about as good as the cannabis community because it's great conversation. It's always peace and it's always good food. It's always something that's great. It's never a loud argument, a fight. It's always a great night when you got wine.
Right, right. And it's always it's very social at the end of the day,
Yes.
right? You like you said, you can sit there. I know for me, I'm gonna eat a good meal with a glass of wine. Like that's just
Off the top.
culinary goes hand in hand with wine and
Kool-Aid
and
that you
vice
made
versa.
as a kid. Like as a kid, you had to have Kool-Aid. As an adult, you have to have wine with a great meal.
You gotta have a glass of wine. I'm interested, man, because I'm I'm I'm, I'm your young OG. Like I steady trying to find ways to reinvent myself, right? And reinvent what I'm doing, whether on the court or off the court. Like, how do you continue to reinvent yourself? Like, because that got to be a mindset first. But take me and the people that's listening to this through that.
My process for reinventing myself is to stay true to myself first, and then to always have my ears and my pulse on the youth, because this is a young man's game, and it's always been that. When I came in the game as a youngster, I took it by storm, and I overwhelmed everybody, and I was the great. And you can't get them young days back. So what you do is you tap into the youngsters, and you let them tap into you. You let them use you while you learning from them. And then what I did was I created a lane for myself to become Uncle Snoop, as opposed to some old, washed up, mad rapper. But I was more like an uncle, a consultant, someone that you could, count on, that could be there for you, that wasn't going to talk about you, that wasn't going to bash you, that was going to be an ear, that was going to be confidence, be wisdom. And that to me helps me reinvent myself by staying in tune with the youth, and still doing me, not trying to, rap their way or do the things they do, but, shoot my shot the way I shoot. I take the two. I ain't got to pop the threes like the youngsters do. I'm gonna go to the hole and get that easy bucket. You know, shooting percentage is real high because I ain't finna shoot them threes like Steph in the new era. I can
Right,
pop a three from time to time, but my game is inside because I'm
right,
big game. You understand what I'm saying? So I understand my game, but I can't adjust to shoot threes if you need me to. But coach, I'm better if I gonna get this 20 points and this 10 rebounds and 13 assists a game instead of trying
right.
to put 35 points.
Because you know who you are.
That's what I do well.
Right. So don't try to put me in the box and make me do something else that I don't do well. And then you frown upon me when I don't do that thing well. So it's like,
I'm coming off the bench because my number is gonna stay the same.
right,
My number is gonna stay the same because I'm gonna play my same game. And if I do come off the bench, it's a problem for the team we playing against. Because ain't nobody on the bench better than me because I'm really a starter. But
right,
I understand my role now as an older guy. I come off the bench, put up 20. I'm still putting up 20 like a starter because this guy over here, he's inexperienced. He can't stop me. He don't even know what I'm gonna do to him. I'm gonna teach you.
right. But hell yeah, I agree with you. I don't think most people look at it like that, or they're afraid to look at it like that. And then they're afraid to reinvent themselves.
They're
Do you
afraid
agree?
to be less than
Do
what they
you
were.
agree with that?
A lot of people are afraid to be less than what they were as far as labeled as. But if you never paid attention to the label, you don't pay attention. Like I told Deion Sanders, he called me after the versus battle, and he was like, "Snoop, your performance was Hall of Fame. The things you did, the way." And he was saying, "Did you?" I said, "Deion, I don't get a chance to watch my highlights because I'm too busy trying to play the next game.
Right,
So I couldn't feel what he felt, but I understood what he felt. But my thing is, I got to go do some more things because I ain't done playing the game. Now, when I'm done, I may be able to look back at my highlights and say, man, I did that well. I was amazing when I did that. That was a great song. That was a great performance. That was a great night. But right now, I'm too busy trying to do it, so I can't watch it. Because if I get caught up in my own hype, then I ain't gonna be as good as I'm supposed to be."
that's a true that's like a true hooper mentality right there, or a true athlete mentality right there. But the athletes that's at that level, who are able to and feel comfortable to say that. Like, I don't watch my highlights at the end of the day. Only time I'll watch them is if somebody's sending them to me, or they say, "Yo, Mel, look, check this out." Or, "Yo, you did crazy today." Boom, boom, boom. Like that's not me at the end of the day. I know the square that I stand on, and I know what I do, and I know what I can do. So going back and looking at that and doing and focusing on that, that's taking my focus away from the next
Right.
match.
Imagine
I,
somebody saying, Melo, I need you to play like you played when you was at Denver and you used to do
right,
this and used to do that. No, I need you to play like when you was in New York when you first came. And you no, hold on. I'm gonna play the game the way I play the game, no matter what uniform I got on. That's what y'all don't know.
absolutely, absolutely. Speaking about just kind of the different kind of things you into. You about to open up a clothing store, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Clothing store is called Snoopy's, aka Snoop Dogg's. When we came out with Doggy Style and the Death Row Records catalog, we didn't really have merchandise. And we really wasn't smart enough to understand what merchandise meant. So me being a businessman and owning my album cover, Doggy Style, I felt like it only made sense for me to go back and build some merchandise, some product, and build a store around Snoop Dogg and all things Snoop Dogg. So this will be the first official store where you can get all Snoop Dogg merchandise, from hats to beanies to pillows to jackets to music to everything and anything that I've ever done. And it's dedicated to me and the people that love me because I never really was a guy that was focused on merchandise in the beginning of my career. I was focused on being the dopest rapper in the world and taking out any motherfucker that had a problem with it. And business was not on my mind. I was so busy being the show. You get me? So now as I become a grown man, it's called what? Show business. So I had to go back and get that business to add to the show.
When is it? When is the store opening?
When the NFL decided to say people can go to that stadium because we right across the street from the stadium. I'm talking about like jogging distance. So I want the traffic to be right. I ain't in no rush. I don't want to just put it up to be putting it up. I'd rather wait till the traffic is right to where everything gets back to a natural normal or to a normal to where people can shop and do things like that.
Right, and have that normal experience too at the end of the day.
Right. No pressure.
Because if I'm a fan of yours and been riding with you for my whole life and in your career throughout your career, then I'm not in the rush because I know when I get it, I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna be authentic, and it's gonna be true to who I am and true to what I support. So I understand. I understand that. Well, let's talk about our brother a little bit, right? Kobe, and it seems like it was yesterday for me. The relationship that I know that you and him had over the years. How can you describe that?
You know what? It was crazy because you can look at our careers as being parallel. You know, when he came in the league, he was young. When I came in the league, I was young. And we came to great franchises. And at the same time, we had to earn our position, but nothing given. And once we got it, we didn't look back. Whoever spot we took was never getting back on that court again. And then from there, we had to learn how to be a team player. From learning how to be a team player, we had to learn how to be a family man. Then from being a family man, we had to learn how to adjust later in our careers to not being as good as we were or as best as we could be. Then we had to adjust to the part of life after being the best basketball player in the world, to being a businessman, a father, and an advocate for women and basketball for girls. So to me, that's the perfect mirror of what my career was as far as the things I've done with my football league and becoming a family man and, being a leader and a team player, going to No Limit Records, coming back home and building my things with the community that I'm from, and just watching me and him grow as friends, to be able to call him and say, man, that was beautiful what you did, that movie you did about your basketball thing, and him to call me and tell me, man, when you did that thing, that performance, like when we would see each other, it would be more congratulations about me seeing his highlights and him telling me about my highlights. So those were moments that I could celebrate my highlights because one of my friends and one of the guys that I looked up to on the basketball court appreciated what I done as much as I appreciated him. And we had no problem saying it. And whenever I would come to a game, if he was in the game, he would make it a must to come give me some. If it's during the game, after the game, before the game, he would break his back to get to me the same way he would do to him.
Absolutely.
And so be a violation because it's like, Snoop Dogg in there smelling like that stuff. But he still went over there and gave you some. Now he back on the court smelling like that stuff.
Hey man, big shout out, man, to our brother, man. We all know what he meant to us personally and what he meant, to LA and to the rest of the world. So
I want to ask a question, Carmelo. How was he in the on the Dream Team when he was like the Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan to y'all? So what was his like demeanor like over there being with the young goons? Because y'all was the goons at that time.
Yeah, so with him, we was looking for him to just like, yo, like let us have your back. Like, don't feel like you in LA. Like you ain't got to do it all here with us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Just we wanted him to just relax, take the gloves off, be cool, just go with the flow. You ain't got to do too much. That team in 08 was very similar to the Dream Team in 92
I think
because
y'all could have got the Dream Team.
I think we'd have got the Dream Team too.
That's just my, no disrespect to Magic and Michael and them, but y'all would have took it to them.
So we had that's our vision was that. Like that was our mood board. Like the 92 Dream Team was our vision board.
Yeah, okay, we got to be like them or better than them.
Right. So we know what they created already. They laid the foundation. They laid the pillars for USA basketball.
The best. We sending the best.
Absolutely.
To play y'all best.
Absolutely. So when remember we had lost in 04 in Greece.
I remember.
And then we lost.
Was you on that college team?
Yeah, so we had I was me, Bron, D Wade. We was the young boys on that.
Y'all was babies then. Y'all wasn't in the league. Y'all was little bitties, right?
Yeah, we had that was right after our first year.
Rookie.
Y'all
didn't know how to kill then.
Nah, we didn't. We wasn't ready for that type of game that was over there.
They had grown men on y'all.
They had grown men, but also the game was different, right? The rules was different. The ball was different.
The Euro style is different in America.
The Euro style was a lot different than America.
That's the first time y'all seen that Euro step too, huh?
Absolutely. And then we talking about young and ripe and ready Ginobili back then. Like,
oh,
you know, young Manu.
Yeah, he was a dog.
Yeah. And even with us though, like we lost to Puerto Rico. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, damn.
What?
Yeah, we lost to Puerto Rico first game in 04.
Yeah, y'all was youngsters. Y'all was babies building at that time. But that gave y'all a championship for 2008 to where y'all
we came 04, then 06 we lost in the World Championship, and then we was just like, you know what? We gotta go get the dogs, like best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And so Cole came on the team, and it was just like, yo, look, we the redeemed team. Like we got to redeem ourselves from 04 and 06. But again, we had the 92 team as our vision board from a global standpoint. We knew the impact of what they created. We watched that shit every single day. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it every single day.
And y'all was kids when the shit was going on, so it affected y'all play the way y'all play now.
Absolutely. So that was the motivation for us. So when he came, it was like, yo, look, rely on us. We rely on you. We in this together. We're in the bunker together. We going to war right now. Fuck it. Like, let's go. But we all gotta do our part. Like, we ain't gotta do a lot, but we all gotta do our part. We got the best in the world.
And we got a special moment, man. Y'all gave us
we had to lock in and that on that 08 team. And we did that. He was the older guy. He was the older veteran. He was the OG on the team. So with us, we just knew that we had to have his back.
Let me tell you what y'all did, though. Let me tell you what y'all did for him. Y'all put so much fire in him. He went and got him another championship.
Yeah.
Another two.
Nah, he got that's a fact though. That's a real fact because
he went and got two more.
He took that energy and that mindset of what we created in 08 and added on to what he already had.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When he went and got Gasol,
right.
Let me tell you, I'm watching the dynamics of it all go down. He watching him from the Spaniard perspective. He ain't watching him from the Memphis Grizzlies. He watching what he do in that international style ball. Kobe, like, if I can get him with me and put some dog in him, it's a wrap. And he went 2 times. He went 3 and won 2 after that. Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Y'all put that in.
And I always say, man, like, could we have done it without him? I don't know. Could he have done it without us? I don't know. But I can say one thing, that group right there would be one of the most iconic groups that will ever grace this planet when it comes to the sport of basketball, like ever. I can tell you that. And we created our own lane. 92 Dream Team had their lane, and that 08 Redeem Team. We carved out our own lane for the rest of the world. So Cole was a very integral part. And that you said something earlier, man. And the shit just kicking back into me when you was talking about your album cover, how you own your album cover. Explain that, because a lot of people don't understand what that means.
Well, the album cover doggy style, the artwork with the dogs. My cousin Joe Cool was fresh out the penitentiary when he drew that album cover for him. When Death Row did a deal with him, paid him work for hire, but they didn't own the rights to the artwork. So years later, after the album and things went different ways, I cut a deal with my cousin to buy the rights to my album cover because he officially drew them. So I cut a deal with him to get my album cover back. So I own the album cover, but I don't own the album.
Wow.
So I can sell all of the marketing and the merchandise and connect it to that album without consenting with nobody. But when it's time for them to sell that album, they got to holler at me to clear that album cover.
Now, did you know that then?
No, I didn't. Just, strategically, shit just works out sometimes when you got to, you're doing the right thing come back to you. Because remember back then, I didn't get no publishing for the Chronic album. I didn't get no publishing for this album because I didn't know what the shit was. So imagine all of the money that I lost, but it wasn't about the money. It was about me learning how to get my feet up under me and learning how to position myself as an artist. So I attribute that to the financial, dispense as far as whatever I didn't make, I made up for it with the game that I got, the information, and how I learned how to carry myself and present myself as a rapper and become a businessman sooner after that.
Wow. And a lot of people wouldn't really understand that, and that's why I asked that. I understand it, but people who's probably watching this is like, yo, what he mean he owned his album cover. But that information right there says a lot. For one, it says the maturity that you had over the years to take the onus into your own hands, the growth that you had to have, the mindset that you had to be able to go to your cousin and strike that deal and take, not take it, but get that from him. Whereas you fast forward however many years later to now, you about to open up your own store because you didn't know about the merchandising game back then. It wasn't something that you was trying to learn, or maybe you didn't understand it back then. Now you understand it 360 degrees, and you about to open up your own store. So that's nothing but a cycle of success right there.
Yes, sir.
You do so much, man, in our community, in the Black community as a whole, man. You do so much for kids. You do so much, for your city and your town. Hollywood, we all know what you do. You're one of the biggest stars out there. What else are you working on? I know you're working on some other shit.
Well, to be honest with you, I created a football league for the special kids, for the special stars, all of the special needs kids in Southern California. So we got Snoop Special Stars, where we deal with the kids who have special needs, disabilities, and we get them out and we show them a great time and we show them how to interact. And we have coaches and mentors and kids that come out and work with them. We've been doing it for 3 years. And it's such a great experience, Mello, when you got a kid who really doesn't get the attention they deserve and parents don't really know how to deal with them, because when you have a kid that has a special, you know, disability, you really are not taught how to deal with it. So we're actually dealing with it and giving them fun. They dancing, they having a good time, and they seem to be enjoying life as regular kids. And that's the things I like providing. That's, really with no cameras, but it's giving happiness and it's giving hope and it's saving lives. And it's not just kids that's in my program. We even have a 70-some-year-old man that's in my program, and we had a banquet, and we had a performer come out and dance, and everybody was dancing. So the dancing that came to an end, and everybody was sitting down, and then the older man, 70-some-year-old man, was still dancing. He was dancing, and they was trying to get him to sit down, and I grabbed the mic, and I was like, "No, let him dance." And then when he finished, his wife came to me and said, "Baby, my husband ain't stood up and danced in over 30 years." And it
Wow.
just it broke my heart, but it was tears of joy that we could do that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, impacting so many people with this special star stuff. And it's how we say it's Snoop Special Stars because it has no limit on it as far as age, but it's really designed for the kids so that way they can learn how to grow with their disabilities and be treated as regular kids in society and not be looked at as somebody that looks different, walks different, talks. We all the same. Love is love.
That's powerful, bro. Congratulations on that. I'm sure you're gonna continue doing that. I'm a fan of your youth league, right? That's a Snoop football league, right?
Yes, sir.
So what what made you start that, for one? But also, do you think that was another reinvention of yourself, right? What do you think that was a different turning point in your life, not your career, but in your life?
I definitely think that was a reinventing moment for myself because my kids, my sons, wanted to play football, and I got them involved in just being a father on the sidelines, to being a volunteer, to being an assistant coach. So you know what? I don't see this helping out my community and the kids that come from my community. I'm creating my own league for urban kids in the community so they can have football without as much money involved. And we created that, and then that, became such a great experience that we started sending kids to high school left and right. We started sending kids to Division I programs. And we had a kid go to the Super Bowl. And we had a kid go to my favorite team, the Steelers. And we had a kid go to the Buffalo Bills and to the Raiders. Before you know it, we flooding the league and we sending them left and right as if we was a powerhouse high school. And it's based off of, volunteers and community workers and ex-gang members and people who have stories of survival, and they teaching these kids how to live, and we teaching them how to be student athletes. Every kid in my league has to have a 2.5 GPA. So you
Mm.
can't just be a dumb jock out there playing the way it used to be. You got to have some education to go with it in case your life on this football field comes to an end. You're going to have something to fall back on. And I just
And
feel like that was a reinventing moment because it helped me tap into being a better father, being a better man, and just being a mentor and a coach. Like, I didn't even know I was a coach, Melo. I didn't know I had the abilities to teach and to educate, but through this, it showed me how to coach in life as well as on the football field.
and that shifted your whole thought process once you got involved with that, I assume.
All the way. Different man, different way of thinking. I stopped smoking weed for about 160 days my second year coaching because I came to practice one day and one of the kids was like, Coach Snoop, you smell like when my mom boyfriend come over. I was like, damn, that's fucked up. And I had to,
Yeah.
check myself and say, if I'm gonna be coaching these kids, the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure I'm on point, like mentally aware, physically, and all of that. So I'm gonna take that out. When I practice, go to practice, no smoking. After practice, I can get down. Before, nothing happened. I don't even want to come up there with the scent on me. I want to come up there smelling like the finest cologne, having my little notebook pad with all my plays and things on it, and really my whistle on my neck, my beanie on, in coach mode, and that reaffirmed to those kids that I'm not Snoop Dogg. They call me Coach Snoop for a reason because I'm really a coach.
Right. I'm a big fan of that show that you created with that. So I watched that, on a daily basis.
And
Very,
Melo,
very.
all them boys going to Division 1 right now. J-Rock going to USC. He got
Uh-huh.
promised. Remember Jalen, the one who lost his mom?
Yep.
I connected him. Odell Beckham fell in love with him, took him to the Nickelodeon night. The boy getting good grades. He on his way to USC. So things like that we do, that wasn't even about me having a camera on the show. Somebody that I work with was like, man, this stuff too good. You got to let the world see this. I was doing it for like 10 years before I even filmed it
Right.
because I wasn't about the attention. I was just doing it. And I didn't want all that. I just wanted to just be a coach. And once they put the cameras on, I'm like, damn, I'm doing some great work. Like I say, I don't get to watch my highlights. And when I seen this work, when they played it back for me and I seen how powerful it was and how I meant so much to these kids and these families, I'm like, damn, I'm really impacting my community without even trying to, like, not even thinking about it, just doing me.
That's when you know you found your purpose in life. That's when you know. Like you said, you don't really look at your highlights, but when they sat you down and you watch that shit, you realize, damn, this is a greater purpose in my life, to be able to impact not just one kid, but families all across the spectrum. And I seen it, and I was impacted by that from watching that and viewing that and sitting down there, an avid viewer of that show. So I'll take my hat off to you for doing that and reinventing yourself when it came to that back in the community. Um, let's jump into some music, man, because that versus battle,
Mm.
for me personally, to see the two dogs together like that was more powerful than anything, right? Forget I don't that wasn't a battle to me. I don't think the verses, they shouldn't even be called battles because it's not even a battle, right? It's a celebration of greatness, of an art form, of two great people, two great artists. But to see you and X on that stage was incredible, man. Like, what was that like at the end of the day? And how did it come about? How did it come about? I know Swiss and I know the work that he puts in behind the scenes to make that shit happen. But as an artist, how did it come about?
it it was a couple of people that was supposed to be, in the versus battle, but it didn't happen. So fortunately, DMX was flying to LA to work with Swiss Beats, and I was available, he was available, and it just flew in the air that, damn, what if DMX and Dog went at it? Two dogs.
Two
And
dogs.
this shit just felt good just hearing it. It's like, damn, that's like we start thinking like wrestlers now. Like, what kind of promo could we do? What kind of ads could we do? You know what I'm saying? With two dogs barking and fighting and all kind, like, nigga, this shit right here gonna be hard. And then we start thinking about the era. Like I ran the rap game from 92 to 95. Tupac and Biggie had it from 95 to 97. DMX had that motherfucker from 99 to about late 99, early 2000. So it made sense for me and him to get into that arena, considering that we both had the rap game at the palm of our hands in the era where it was hard to hold it, but we held it for a while. And we had a mutual respect and a mutual love for each other. So it wasn't going to be a disrespectful battle where I don't like you, or you from the East Coast, or you from the West. It was going to be one of those things where it's going to be definitely animated. It's going to be definitely aggression and songs that are hard, but our songs are going up against each other. We're not going up against each other. And once we put that perspective in the air, and me and him, we great at being live on the stage. We great at being MCs. So once we start chopping game and talking and loving each other, and our music start playing, like one thing about music, you can't fake that shit.
Not at all. That energy is different.
Like, how am I in a battle versus this nigga and I like 7 of this nigga's songs that didn't came on? Like, fuck that shit. This ain't no fucking battle. This nigga shit jamming like a motherfucker.
Again, that's the celebration. That's the celebratory part of that as well. When you're able to be secure on who you are in your career and what you've been able to establish, and the next person is able to, do the same thing, there's nothing but joy in that. There's nothing but, celebration. There's nothing but excitement in that. And that came off just like that. I'm sure the people that watched it would tell you the same thing. It's that energy was given out at an all-time high. Like that aura, everybody was locked in, everybody was excited about it. And again, I know it's not a battle. Y'all know it's not a battle, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna celebrate my shit, you're gonna celebrate your shit. And we're not going against each other. We're gonna let our music speak for each other. We in this arena together for a reason, because our music and our artistry has gotten us to a level where we can sit down side by side and go song for song. So that's how I take it, man. And that was an incredible moment to see you and to see Dog like that out there, man. So big shout out.
Shout out to DMX, man, for being a great sport. You know what I'm saying? Because as a rapper, it's like an athlete. We just got a competitive nature about ourselves.
Right.
If I'm going one-on-one against you, Mello, I might throw your elbow in your ribs or something, but it ain't personal. It's just I'm trying to get a better position. You may throw one at me, but it's just all part of the game. And when the game is over with, we may have cussed each other out and said all kind of shit, but we're going to shake hands and sit down and laugh about it. And that's what that was. That was like a game of one-on-one with one of your niggas that you know what I'm saying, that you've been wanting to play against. He got game. You got game. He like to go inside. You like to go inside. He got a jump shot. You got a jump shot. This nigga do the same shit I do. Matter of fact, some of my moves look like this nigga moves. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So which makes it right. So when a song is played, that's a great point, because when a song is played, I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I see you over there like, damn, like I forgot all about this. But you, at the end of the day, you're a fan too. So that comes off very sincere and very genuine.
Right, but if I love you, I love you. I don't give a fuck if we fight, and I still love you.
Right.
And one thing about his music, he make dog music, and I'm a dog, so that shit just feel different and hit different. It's like if it didn't hit, I wasn't gonna move to it. I'm not a great actor at that kind of shit. But if this shit feel good to me, it must be good for me. I caught the gangster Holy Ghost. Forgive me, God.
Hey, listen, I knew shit was real when I seen X up there two-stepping. I seen it.
The nigga sung all of the words to Bitches Ain't Shit, one of my underground hits. This nigga sung every word. This nigga knew my ad-libs and everything. He was saying it so good. I damn near forgot my words. You know how you could get caught up? As rappers, we get caught up. If we rap and another rapper is rapping your shit, sometimes it's mind-boggling. It throws you off because it's like, damn, this nigga know my shit. And then you fuck around and forget you got some more lines to come up. And then you'll forget your words. So I think he did that on purpose to try to throw me off, to make me, you know what I'm saying, slip a line or two. Because when he was spitting that shit, he was spitting it word for word.
Yeah. Dogs got to eat, man. Big dogs got to eat. You know that.
Come on, man.
Come on, hey, man. Before we wrap this up, man, it's first of all, it's been a pleasure and an honor, man, chopping it up with you like this, man. And real relaxed, living room style conversation over your wine. 19 Crime by Snoop Red, Cali Red. we all know what we're dealing with in our communities, man, in the hood, and just being a black man, a black woman today in this day and age. We've been dealing with it for so long, and we still dealing with it. What's a message, man, that you want to send out there, you know, to the younger generation, and even to us, your peers? Like, at the end of the day, man, what is that in the black community? What is that message that you want to send out there to the rest of them?
Well, the message is, if you watch the versus battle, the message is all about celebratory, to celebrate each other, to show some love, to tell somebody you love them, to tell them you appreciate, to tell your brother how good he is and how much you appreciate what he's done. There's nothing wrong with you, you know, congratulating, patting somebody on the back. And I think we need to work on that. And once we learn how to do that genuinely and organically, we'll become a better race and a better people. And that's what I practice. That's what I do. And that's why when they say Snoop Dogg, the first thing they do is smile. They don't get upset or get tense. When you say Snoop Dogg, you smile because you know something peaceful and positive is going to come out of that. And I had to learn how to become that, because there used to be a time when people would say Snoop Dogg and they would, not around my kids. No way. Not
Right.
him. No. He got gangbangers with him. No way.
Right.
Now it's like Snoop Dogg. Sure, bring him in. My grandma love him. My kids love him. My mama love him. You get what I'm saying? Because I had to work on it getting better. So if we can work on that, as far as, you know, letting people know how much you love them, it'll come back full circle. Let's not worry about me. Let's worry about we. Because we can only get better if we command and appreciate each other, as opposed to looking out for yourself.
Hey, man, that's peace, Big Unc, man. I appreciate you tapping into what's in your glass, man. All of y'all out there, that 19 Crimes, I'm gonna finish my bottle tonight. You know, that
Big
Cali
easy,
Red.
go slow, man. You got a couple games. Y'all trying to get in the playoffs. Take it easy.
Hey, listen, you know, this like water right here, man. This my Gatorade.
That's your Gatorade? It's for that deep down body thirst?
Absolutely.
Hey, man, y'all look good out there, too.
I appreciate that.
Because if y'all get in the playoffs, y'all going to make it rough on us, and we need that. I like the way you, McCullum, and Lillard, the way y'all playing right now. Y'all look good.
I appreciate that, definitely.
You know, Dame is my boy. Me and Dame got a song together.
I know. I know. You know, I know it all.
He
know
banged
that
it for you?
That's all we listen to. You know that.
That nigga can, that motherfucker be spit.
Dame Dollar, man. If you heard it here first, Dame Dollar. Big shout out to my brother, man.
He one nigga that can quit his day job. You understand me?
Hey, look, don't let him hear that shit, though. Don't let him hear that. Don't let him hear that. We need him. We need him right now. Don't let him hear that. Hey, Unc, man, I appreciate you, though, Unc. Always love.
I love you, boy. You know I love you. Send my love to the family, to the boys, to the whole team. You know what it is.
Absolutely, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Love.